Greetings and welcome, this is KYC News for you. Today we will see about secrets you never knew about flying on planes. Stay tuned. "15 Secrets You Never Knew About Flying on Planes." No matter how frequently you fly, once a year or once a week, you undoubtedly still have some questions about it. Here are a few aviation secrets that flight attendants, pilots, and industry insiders say you should know. That oxygen mask is only effective for about 15 minutes. According to HuffPost, the drop-down emergency oxygen masks on the plane are typically only prepared to pump out oxygen for roughly 12 to 15 minutes, which certainly sounds like a terrible revelation. Don't panic, though. Usually, it takes a pilot much less time to lower the aircraft to a safe height than it does for those oxygen masks to deplete. You should put your mask over your mouth and nose as quickly as you can, since you run the risk of passing out within 30 seconds after the cabin pressure reaches dangerously low levels. The chimes that you hear on airplanes are actually a code. Notably, they typically aren't saying anything really exciting. Flight crews typically communicate with one another across the cabin using a system of bells and chimes, according to a blog post by Qantas Airlines. The information contained in these chime messages could be anything from the quantity of food still available to turbulence seen along the flight path. On rare situations, the chimes can constitute an emergency or route change alert coming from the cockpit. It is not feasible to pass away while flying. Most aircraft do not have any staff members on board who are qualified to announce a time of death, despite the fact that flight crews are educated in basic first aid and some are even certified to do resuscitation. According to the BBC, this means that there isn't really such a thing as a mid-flight death in the legal sense, because people are only officially deemed dead after they touch down. But if someone does pass away, they will probably be left seated. Most aircraft don't have a dedicated space where the body will be kept until landing if someone does pass away during a flight. If there isn't an open row in which to put the body down, the deceased passenger will often be strapped back into their assigned seat, according to the BBC. Typically, a blanket will be wrapped around the passenger. Toilets on airplanes can be opened from outside. According to Lifehacker, there is actually an exterior lock mechanism that can be used to unlock the restroom from the outside. It is typically hidden beneath the no smoking sign on the door. The restrooms unlock from the outside for safety, even if it may feel intrusive. You might not want to drink the water. Even if you don't have a fear of germs, you might want to reconsider purchasing tea or coffee on a flight. The drinking water on more than 1 in 10 airplanes tested positive for high levels of coliform, which are potentially hazardous bacteria present in human excrement, according to tests done by the Environmental Protection Agency in 2004 and 2012. Although coliform is not a major threat by itself, it frequently indicates the presence of other potentially harmful germs like E. coli. The majority of flight attendants will advise you to avoid the onboard water supply at all costs, even though the EPA now mandates that planes have their water supply tested once a year. Dimming the lights is typically done to get your eyes ready for a possible evacuation. When the lights are dimmed for takeoff, the crew is not attempting to lull you to sleep. According to Condé Nast Traveler, internal lighting is actually dimmed so that passengers' eyes are accustomed to the dark in case something goes wrong during takeoff or landing. Before the plane's doors are shut, flight attendants are not compensated. Hourly paid flight attendants aren't actually compensated until the plane's doors are closed. Similarly, according to the Point Sky, they no longer receive payment after the doors have opened. That's true, none of the time spent by flight attendants preparing the aircraft, boarding passengers, doing safety checks, or assisting with exit procedures is compensated. Many European airlines pay their flight attendants on a salary basis, and the majority of crew members on both sides of the Atlantic receive a tax-free allowance to assist them in covering costs like food during layovers. You can literally request a full soda can. Some airlines will pour a portion of a regular can into a smaller plastic cup to provide soda and juice. However, according to HuffPost, you can usually just ask for the whole can. They'll cheerfully comply with you without charging you extra 9 times out of 10. A plane's captain is powerful. According to Think Aviation, the PIC, or pilot in charge, has a lot of power while the plane's doors are shut. A PIC has the authority to restrain a passenger, take a will, levy penalties, and deny access to someone who appears ill. On a plane, a PIC is the highest authority. Whatever they say is final. Your boarding pass contains a lot of secret data. The wording on your boarding card contains a lot of interesting and maybe sensitive information, even though much of it probably doesn't make any sense to you at first look. The airline is identified by the first two letters before the flight number. According to Gizmodo, the numerical element of your flight number actually provides a hint as to the direction you'll be flying in. Flights with odd numbers fly south, while those with even ones fly west. The 6-character section of text that appears on your boarding pass, on the other hand, serves as your booking reference or passenger name record. This tiny code can actually be used to seek up a variety of information online, including your age, payment card details, and even your destination. The dirtiest items on an airline are frequently the tray tables. One of the dirtiest items on your flight is certainly the tray table at your seat. According to active flight attendant Sarah Kegel, they are only cleaned approximately once a day, generally when the aircraft remains overnight. As people drool and change filthy diapers on the tables, flight attendants advise taking sanitizing wipes with you to clean up your area. The flight crews hardly ever throw parties during layovers. Federal law forbids flight crew from consuming alcohol within 8 hours of a flight, and airline policies are typically much more stringent. Since there are serious consequences for being discovered intoxicated or even just hungover on the job, the majority of flight crew members simply grab some food and go to bed after clocking off. When you show in for a flight, someone may be there to provide a breathalyzer or a drug test, according to Sean Kathleen. Former flight attendant Sean Kathleen told the New York Post that everyone is serious about it. Your baby could likely be delivered by your flight attendant. Flight attendants hold some impressive credentials, making them more than just apex waitstaff. A wide range of technical and safety knowledge is required for flight attendant training. Carrie A. Trey, a flight attendant, explained to The Points Guy that practical tests can involve learning how to put out fires using simulators, diagnose various diseases, splint broken limbs, stop nosebleeds, give CPR, and yes, even deliver babies. Some flight attendant training programs require more application work than Ivy League colleges. For instance, getting accepted into Delta Airlines' flight attendant training program is famously difficult. Only 1% of the 150,000 people who applied to Delta's program in 2016 were admitted. Harvard University's admittance rate for 2016 was 5.2%, in contrast. We really hope that you learned the most from this video. If so, please like it and remember to subscribe to this channel for more. Enjoy your time.